Today we're at a restaurant ranked the best in the world multiple times. 3 Michelin stars and chef Massimo Bottura behind it. Hi guys, I'm Anya and I explore restaurants around the world. From Michelin restaurants to unique places that stand out for different reasons. Today we're talking about Osteria Francescana in Modena, one of the most famous restaurants in the world. It's actually been quite some time since I visited Osteria Francescana, but I've been asked many times to share this review, so I finally decided to sit down and talk about it. Even though the visit wasn't recent, I still remember the experience very clearly. Osteria Francescana was ranked the world's best restaurant by the world's 50 best restaurants in 2016 and 2018, and it also placed second and third several times over the years. And just like Noma, it's now part of the best list, which means it no longer competes in the ranking. And of course, a place with that kind of reputation comes with huge expectations. So I wanted to see if this would be one of the meals you never forget, or just another famous restaurant living on its reputation. Our whole Italy trip was basically built around getting a table here. We were visiting Modena, Bologna, and Milan, but Osteria Francescana was the main reason for the trip. We knew exactly when the reservations would open, about 6 months in advance, because the dream was to celebrate New Year's Eve here. The moment the bookings opened, we were ready, but there was nothing available for New Year's Eve. The only table we managed to secure was on December 30th, which we were still very happy about. The restaurant is located in the historic center of Modena, on a quiet street surrounded by traditional buildings. Modena itself is very small and easy to walk around. We reached the restaurant on foot from the train station without any problem. From the outside, Osteria Francescana blends completely into the streets. If you didn't know exactly where you were going, you could easily walk past it without realizing that you're standing next to one of the most famous restaurants in the world. Inside the restaurant, the dining room felt much simpler than what I expected. Surprisingly simple for a restaurant with this kind of reputation. Nothing flashy, nothing over-designed, and nothing competing for attention. Green walls, soft lighting, round tables with white tablecloths. The room itself is small with only a few tables, and there's no open kitchen or extra noise. Once you sit down, the focus really stays on the table. At the time of our visit, the tasting menu was 290 euros and the wine pairing was 190 euros. Current prices are 350 euros for the tasting menu and 240 euros for the wine pairing. The menu we had was called With a Little Help from My Friends, where each dish referenced iconic Italian chefs and classic dishes reinterpreted in Bottura style. Before the tasting menu started, we were served a few small opening bites together with a bread soup. One bite was inspired by a fried prawn made with phyllo dough filled with red prawn, with paprika shaped like the prawn itself and balsamic forming the eye. Another was a wafer with sea bass, caviar, and herb mousse. Alongside that came the bread soup that was deeply oniony and full of umami, almost like a rich broth. The first dish of the tasting menu was la cipolla fondante. It was a dense baked pastry that almost melted in your mouth with onion cream, hazelnut cream, and topped with black truffle. The pairing here was a northern Italian white made from petit arvan. Then came the spaghetti salad with caviar, a dish honoring the first Italian chef to receive 3 Michelin stars. It looked like art on a plate, with crunchy pasta, vegetables, cuttlefish, oyster, caviar, and different spaghetti creams layered very precisely. The wine here was Trebbiano from Abruzzo, very clean and easy to drink, which made sense with all the seafood. After that came one of my absolute favorite dishes, which was a ravioli made from mortadella, filled with scallops, served with cauliflower chowder and marinated apple. The texture and flavor were honestly amazing, and it felt like biting into a dumpling. It was hard to believe that the pasta itself was mortadella. The pairing here was Riesling mixed with tonic, green apple juice, and herbs, a bit different from a classic wine pairing. Then came a pumpkin tortello, where the pumpkin itself acted as the pasta. It came with sage butter, mostarda, and white truffle. The pairing shifted into a softer, slightly sweeter based on Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc. Next came Parmesan risotto, which actually was a Parmesan chawanmushi, together with veal tongue, morels, black truffle, and mushroom flavors. They finished it by pouring the mushroom jus at the table. The wine moved into red here, a Barbera from Piedmont. After that came guinea fowl with foie gras, celeriac cream, herbs, and apple chutney. One side was the guinea fowl, and the other side the foie gras with a dark pan jus added over everything. Another red wine followed here, which was Nebbiolo-based and more earthy, which worked very well with the deeper flavors. Then came mallard stuffed with eel. Underneath were spinach, cherry, eel, and crispy duck skin, plus 2 sauces on the side, a cherry balsamic, and a rich mallard sauce. The pairing here was a red vermouth. After that came the onion pudding, which actually was a risotto with creme caramel underneath, Chinese tea, onion powder, ginger, chocolate, mallards, capers, and coffee. It sounds wild, but the sweet and savory mix really worked, and I still remember the flavor of this dish very clearly. The pairing here was ribolla gialla from Friuli. Next came sirloin with glazed apple and almond ice cream, finished with hibiscus syrup. The apple tasted like it had been lightly poached in syrup, so the whole dish was quite sweet. And then came the dish I still remember the most, the carbonara ice cream. You were literally eating ice cream, but it tasted exactly like pasta carbonara. It had English cream, banana, white chocolate ganache, plus a banana cone filled with caviar and a pepper grinder finish. The pairing here was a late harvest wine made from pickled grapes from Friuli. After that, we moved into desserts. Served together on one plate were saffron rice inspired by the classic Milanese style, a cannolo, and a baba. On the side was the famous camouflage dessert made with different chocolate textures. It felt like a strong ending to a meal that kept surprising us all the way through. The service at Osteria Francescana was top level from start to finish. Everything felt smooth, professional, confident, and the explanations were clear. And what made the experience even more memorable was that Massimo Bottura himself came out to greet the guests. I didn't manage to take a photo when he was there at first, and I was a bit sad when I noticed he left. I mentioned it to the staff, and I also sent him a message on Instagram, and somehow he came back and said he came back for the picture. I don't know if the staff told him or if he saw my message, but it was really cool and I appreciated it a lot. We talked a bit, joked, and he was really funny, kind, and warm. That's a moment I will never forget. On the way out, the staff gave us a small bottle of Massimo's balsamic vinegar as a gift, which felt like a really nice final touch. What stayed with me most about Osteria Francescana was the food itself, the creativity, the vibe, and how many times the dishes genuinely surprised me. Some courses were total mind twists, but the important part is that it wasn't just creative, it was all actually extremely tasty. It's the kind of meal where you keep thinking, how is this even possible? And then you take another bite and it somehow tastes even better than the idea sounds. And meeting Massimo Bottura added something extra. He was funny, relaxed, which made the whole experience feel real, not just like visiting another famous restaurant. For me, this wasn't just about ticking something off a list. It was about experiencing something truly surprising and special. And that was the full experience at Osteria Francescana. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's a lot more food, travel, and restaurant content coming soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.